Are you looking for all the latest pro football news and content? Of course you are. Who doesn't love football? The question is, how do you get all the latest pro football news and content? There's so many different pro football podcasts on the internet. Which one do you choose? Which one is the right fit for you? Well, you go with the Cross the Middle Show, one of the fastest growing football podcasts out right now. Over the past year, we've climbed the Spotify rankings, become a show you have to listen to if you're a football fan. Find out if the Ravens will go all the way with Odell Beckham Jr. Find out the Eagles did enough to make it back to the Super Bowl. You'll get all of our best stories for just $1 per month. All you have to do is sign up by clicking the link in the episode description box. We're at it again on the Cross the Middle Show. It's John Kuzma. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to do the 49ers and Giants recap in this latest episode. We're going to talk a little bit about Brock Purdy. We'll talk about Deebo Samuel too. So let's start with the Brock Purdy story. I thought Brock Purdy was pretty good in this game. Made a lot of nice throws. Did have a couple passes that were close to getting intercepted, but they didn't get intercepted. He actually had 0 interceptions in this game. So it was a good night overall for Brock Purdy. And like I said, he did do a good job of throwing the football. Had a few bubble screens that really helped out in this game and helped him rack up some yardage. But, you look at the throw to Deebo Samuel late in the game down the sideline. Perfect strike away from the defensive back. So it was kind of like a back shoulder throw, down the field. Great throw by Brock Purdy. He did a good job of getting Deebo Samuel involved. He did a good job of making sure George Kittle was involved in the game plan. So I thought, for the most part, Brock Purdy did a pretty good job in this game. I like what he did with Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell had the strong preseason for the 49ers. The guy out of Michigan who was really good at Michigan for all those years he was there. I think he was there for 4 years. So, yeah, Ronnie Bell can play. And, when you look at the 49ers role players, Ronnie Bell, Juwan Jennings, those guys did a good job in this game of, doing a good job of, stepping up when their number was called. And those are, the third and fourth wide receivers in this offense. So when those guys are able to step into the lineup and contribute and be, or I guess you can say have a significant impact for that 49ers offense, it just shows how deep they are on the offensive side of the ball. And the truth is they are. They're so tough to stop. I mean, how can we forget about what Christian McCaffrey did in this game? Brock Purdy did a good job of making sure Christian McCaffrey, got the ball out on the perimeter. I think Christian McCaffrey split out wide on one play, took one of those bubble screens, had a nice play. Christian McCaffrey ran hard on the inside in this game. So, yeah, there's a great supporting cast there for Brock Purdy, but he's doing a good job of, dinking and dunking, making the right reads. Luckily was able to not turn over the ball in this game. And let's face it, ever since he took over this team, he's been a good player. And he's helped this team find a way to stack wins. So he certainly did his part for the 49ers. And, the only game he's lost was the game against the Eagles in the playoffs. And the reason he lost that game, it wasn't solely the reason, but a big part of it was he got hurt in that game. He got hurt early on. And that was it. He wasn't even in the game. So it's hard to, really take that game at face value when he got hurt by the Eagles defense and he wasn't able to play. Yeah, that's his only loss, but he wasn't really even in the game because he got hurt. So the game almost has an asterisk by it. He's won every regular season game that he's played in. He just keeps getting better, and he did a good job in this game. There's no denying that. Yeah, the pass in the end zone in the first quarter that could have been intercepted was not the best throw. The pass that George Kittle had to break up and then basically did the seatbelt celebration. that was another throw that was close to being intercepted. But the reality is, those passes didn't get intercepted. Brock Purdy had, over 300 yards, was doing a good job of getting everybody involved. The touchdown to Ronnie Bell, the touchdown to Deebo Samuel. Look, they were doing a good job in this game. Deebo Samuel, after the catch, was breaking tackles and showing why he's one of the hardest wide receivers to tackle in the National Football League. It's why he was so good when he was playing wide back and lining up in the backfield at running back and taking handoffs. It's why he was so good as basically a hybrid running back, because he's so hard to tackle and so hard to take down. And you saw on, the slant play that Brock Purdy threw to Deebo Samuel, he couldn't be stopped. The Giants couldn't get him down because, he just keeps those legs churning and he finds a way to break tackles. And just when you think you're going to take him down, he breaks free and he keeps going. There's another play over the middle that he caught, and it was really nice. He broke like two tackles after the initial contact on that play too. So really good night overall for Deebo Samuel. Brock Purdy made sure that he was the number one guy as far as catching the football goes. So he did a good job getting him the ball. And, Deebo Samuel, it looks like he's officially back. For a while there, he was kind of not performing up to his ability, because, he didn't want to play wide back anymore. He didn't want to line up in the offensive backfield. So they were just using him at receiver. But I think they found out how to use Deebo Samuel better than they have in the past. You use him over the middle. You use him on those easy throws, because remember, he's basically a running back after the catch. He breaks a lot of tackles. He's hard to take down. He's at his best as a yak receiver, yards after the catch, where he can, use those break tackle abilities to, impact the game. So you want to get him the ball as effectively as you can, and you do that on the slant route like we saw at the end of the game. You do that on crossing routes over the middle where they're shorter throws, they're easier completions, and then you let Deebo Samuel take advantage of the game by turning upfield, breaking some tackles. And, not only does he break tackles, but he pumps life into the team, because when the rest of the players see him breaking those tackles, it energizes the team, because you see that he's leaving it all out on the field. And that's contagious for the other players on the 49ers, because they see Deebo Samuel leaving nothing left in the tank, and they realize they got to step their game up to the next level too, because Deebo Samuel he's not holding anything back. He's leaving it all out on the field, and that is a lightning rod for the 49ers offense. Thought he did a good job on the back shoulder catch too in the end zone, a deep pass. It was good to see him catch the deep pass. He realized, when he was in the end zone that it was going to be a back shoulder, made the adjustment, caught it away from the defensive back. Great adjustment on the fly by Deebo Samuel, made the catch. And, the 49ers were able to put together a convincing win over the Giants. Going into the third quarter, this game was still tight. What was it, like 17-12 or something like that? It wasn't that, after the Matt Breida touchdown by the Giants, it wasn't that far out of reach of the Giants, but you got to give the 49ers credit for what they did after that Matt Breida touchdown, because they went out there and they just pulled ahead and they separated themselves from the Giants, and they put together, a great quarter and a half of football that secured the win for them. And not only the win, it was a convincing win to the point where you're like, okay, this is still a team that is one of the best teams in football, and there's no doubt about it. Because remember, Dallas is gaining some ground. Dallas beat the same Giants really convincingly, 40-0. But, Dallas just lost Trayvon Diggs. That's a tough blow for the Cowboys. So if the 49ers and the Cowboys meet up in the playoffs again, like they have for how many years now. I mean, really, you go back all the way to, the 90s and all that when they had all those legendary battles. But, of recent 2-3 years, I mean, these teams have found a way to run into each other in the playoffs. And to me, the one thing the 49ers have going for them is, I think offensively, on the offense side of the ball, they're better. When you look at the pre-snap motions, when you look at the ability to scheme the game up by Kyle Shanahan, when you look at how they go empty formation, how they motion empty formation by motion Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield to go to 5 wide receiver sets. They're just so versatile in how they attack you on the offensive side of the ball that they're more put together than the Cowboys are. Now, the Cowboys have pretty good weapons, and they spread you out, and that's how they beat you with Dak Prescott throwing the ball to CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, when Brandon Cooks is healthy. That's how they do it. But I think as far as, making, shifts on the offensive side of the ball pre-snap, 49ers are great at that. The motion, pre-snap motions, how they almost look like an arena football offense, how they're using Deebo Samuel on pre-snap motions, their ability to use Christian McCaffrey in the passing game, swinging the football to him out of the backfield. Christian McCaffrey's getting better at running the ball between the tackles. I mean, Christian McCaffrey has been flat out unstoppable since he became a 49er. Remember, with the Panthers, he was really good too, but he dealt with injuries when he was with the Panthers. He's not, banged up. Even though his volume and his workload has been a lot with the 49ers, and even though he's been able to dominate, he hasn't been held back by injuries. He's been able to stay healthy, and he's kind of reinvigorated playing in this offense because there's just so many opportunities for him, and they're so good that Christian McCaffrey understands, how big of an impact he can have for this team, and he's excited to play football. You can just tell in how he plays, how he's incorporated in the offense as a runner, as a receiver out of the backfield, lining up wide as a wide receiver. They use him in so many different ways, and they really do that with a lot of their players, like, going back to Deebo Samuel when he was lined up in the backfield as basically another running back. You look at the depth they have at wide receiver with Ronnie Bell and Jennings. You look at George Kittle. He had a pretty good game. A lot of corner routes in this game he was catching. He's just so good at, the flag route / corner route, whatever you call it. It used to be a flag route. Now they call it a corner route. But you run upfield and then you run to the corner. It's not an out. It's like more of like a deep out, and it's on an angle instead of flat like a out route would be. But that corner route, George Kittle has hit that a lot. Brock Purdy finds him on that route a lot, and once he gets near the sideline, he's able to turn upfield and break off more yardage for that 49ers offense. So, yeah, the 49ers are just a juggernaut on the offense side of the ball. And then, Nick Bosa's back from his holdout, wanted to get the new contract, got the deal done, had a sack on. It was like a bootleg the Giants were trying to run, and Daniel Jones got eaten up by Nick Bosa right down by the goal line. Almost was a safety. I think they put the ball on like the 1 yard line, but Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, comes over from the Eagles. I think he had a sack in this game too. Just nothing there for Daniel Jones, nothing there for the Giants offense. I mean, the Matt Breida touchdown was basically all they could put together. A couple field goals, but not really a great performance at all by the Giants. They look bad this year, and for a team that went to the playoffs this past year to be reduced to what they are now, and Brian Daboll, who was so successful as a coach a year ago, is just frustrated, screaming about the lack of calls he was getting in that game. He's clearly frustrated, and he's already feeling the pressure because in New York, with the New York media and the expectations they have, and with how bad this team is compared to what they were a year ago, injuries piling up. Saquon Barkley is banged up. I mean, there's some real frustration there for Brian Daboll. I think the whole Giants team is frustrated. They just don't look good. They're not going to be a playoff team this year if they keep playing like this. I would argue that they're already, falling so far behind, that they might not be able to put it back together. I mean, there's still a lot of football left, but it's just how they're losing these games. You lose 40-0. You lose last night to the 49ers. The 49ers hang, 33 points on them? I mean, it's just not looking good for the Giants. On the opposite end of it, 49ers do look pretty good. They're up there with, the Giants, the Eagles and the Cowboys as the top team in the NFC. It's really those three teams, Cowboys, Eagles, 49ers, and let's face it, the 49ers could easily be the best team in football with how good they are on both sides of the ball. Really good on offense with Kyle Shanahan and their creativity. Stout on defense with Nick Bosa and the rest of the guys they have there. So another great showing by the 49ers. They get it done. They win another football game, and, it's another well-earned victory for this 49ers team. Like I said, they could be the favorite in all of football this year. We could be looking at a team that hoists the Vince Lombardi trophy when the season's over, because that's how good the 49ers are collectively. That's all I got for this latest episode of the Cross the Middle Show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sign up for $1 per month by clicking the link in the episode description box. That's all I got. I'm John Kuzma. I'm signing off.